Good morning, Grand Rising,
How you doing? This is
the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, and I am Kiana.
and I'm the one and only Mr. Edmund.
And we're brought to you by the New Image Project, better known as.
See. That
Because we're going to redefine what's cool because smart
is
is
the
the
new
new
baby,
gangster.
baby, 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 baby.
How you doing this morning?
Yeah. I'm it turn it up.
Oh, Lord.
I'm it turned up.
Turned up.
So how are you? How everything this
You know
weekend?
what?
I'm making a big mess. Don't worry. We'll clean
Yeah,
it up.
you really are.
We'll clean it
Like,
up.
wow.
I know, right? I don't know. I was just so excited to get this new week started.
Uh huh.
I couldn't help but drip all over the place.
You are such the middle child. You really
So
are.
how was your weekend?
My weekend was how was it was kind of busy.
Okay, kind of busy.
Kind of busy. Had some meetings. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it was Pride.
Yes. We're gonna talk about the Pride weekend.
Oh, we really got to talk about the Pride weekend.
Cause I heard that the overall I heard it was a good event.
Yes,
I got a couple good reports back. I heard St. Pete PD was extra nice,
I think I
informative.
told you that.
Oh, okay, that was part of my report. Then he helped inform my report.
Yeah, St. Pete PD was really like they were really nice, not aggravated,
Accommodating.
accommodating,
It was nice. It was nice to them people.
and they really was.
Okay.
And then you know what?
I hope
It
they
was.
training for MLK.
And it wasn't, we talk about like the world. We start off real early,
Hey,
like
I hope they training for the MLK weekend.
and it wasn't a lot of road closures.
No, the only road closed was the I guess parade or the community route that was like I guess central.
It was actually not even central. Not so
It was
central
central yesterday.
on yesterday because they have two big events. Central they closed down on Sundays because remember that was the original parade route.
Man, I don't. Hey, listen.
Well,
Don't you
that
do that to
was
me.
the original parade route, but they blocked off for Bayshore on not Bayshore, but right off the water, right by the pier.
Yeah.
For the parade from, and I think the parade itself is from like 6 to 9, was from 6 to 10 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. We just want equity. We looking for equity, not equality. So so
Okay.
so treat us equitably.
That's it. That's all
Okay.
you
I
doing.
mean, hey man, it is what it is.
But yeah, I got out there. I Ubered a little bit. I haven't Ubered in a while.
Okay.
So I decided to just do a little something.
Hmm.
And whenever I need to clear my head, I got to Uber is a nice way to do it
Yes.
for me.
Yes. This weekend was amazing. Big shots out to everybody who because this was not the only weekend for the Pride. It was not only just a Pride weekend. It was also a weekend. A lot of other things going on in the community. They had kickball games. It's just a lot positive going on. Jen, you got a napkin? Because I got a little mess. It's running.
It's run across the
It's
table.
running like my nose. So yeah, I definitely want to give a big shot to everybody who, like I said, continue to put on these events, continuing to
Mhm.
do different things in the community that we need, honestly,
Mhm.
right? And then last weekend was the anniversary of the Black Media Meetup. A lot of people don't know the importance of controlling our narrative and telling our stories. We had special guests 99.1 FM. We had Black Power 96.3. We had Weekly Challenger. We had the On the Beat St. Pete,
Mhm.
aka Power Plug staff. We had the St. Pete Bulletin. We really sat down and talked about the importance of controlling our narratives, and this was the anniversary of that meetup. Big shout out to all those black media entities, and if you know or are part of any black media entities in the Tampa Bay area, the greater Tampa Bay area, please connect them with us. We want to make sure the Black Media Meetup, we're going to bring it back. We want to make sure that we have everybody with a representation in the community, because it's important. Our media is important.
It really is. Good morning, Tony.
Controlling our narrative and talking about the issues that impact us the most is so important, and that's what this whole show is about. That's what the New Image Project is about. New Image is an acronym for New Information Media Entertainment,
Good morning, Talisha.
Graphics and Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's the New Image Project, and we really want to help our community in every way possible. And the importance of controlling our narrative, y'all. So thank y'all for supporting us. If y'all been supporting us over the years, if you just start supporting the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, just to let you know, you're supporting something dynamic and something amazing. And thank you for your support.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because for so long we didn't have mainstream media dictated everything that was given to us. And there wasn't so many outlets where people could get out there and talk. And then when they started, people wasn't receptive to it. But now that they are, it's really good. You got all these different platforms where people are able to express and give you information that you typically wouldn't have or be able to tap into. So
And it's important that those platforms also know that you are important. You are Black media. No matter how big your audience is, no matter how small your audience is, you are a part of the Black Media Meetup. So y'all can join us. We're gonna build, and we're gonna continue building, because the importance of getting good information, quality information to our community should not be left in anybody else's hands but ours.
This is true. So, on sad news,
Okay.
Julio.
Okay, yes. Dive right in. Yes, rap artist Julio was pronounced dead yesterday night. His birthday was
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, yesterday night. Blah, 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 blah. His
Was
birthday
Saturday
was
night. Sunday.
celebrated at Tampa. If you don't know, Julio is a rap artist from Jacksonville, who got his stardom for making diss songs and diss tracks about his dead ops. Julio kind of rose to stardom, talking about all his dead ops. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know no other ways to put it. He was shot and killed at a hotel in Tampa. He was having a pool party in Tampa to celebrate his birthday. Young brother was turning 26 years old.
He turned 26.
And
he
at the celebration, the night of the celebration, I guess he came back from wherever and whatever.
They did he started out in an Airbnb. And he told people to DM him so he can give them the location. The Airbnb got shut down.
Okay.
They got kicked out, and then they moved to the Holiday Inn.
But see, so my thing is this: as a community, we're very much into this the battle rap, the beef rap. This particular artist, all his music was about beef. All his music was about um getting it in, right? So how do we feel about that? How do we feel when a young person loses their life after the music, right?
Because some people, so some of it is just music and some of it is real life.
I don't think it's never just music.
You don't think some you don't think some people just take on some people take on personas. Some people take on personas.
But I agree with you. A lot of people do. I agree.
Some people take on personas and they necessarily
them or not.
Right. It's not necessarily they not about their life, about that life. You know what I mean? They be like, yeah, I pull up, and never even touch the AK, never touch the 9. Somebody, it's somebody around them that may have
cousin,
maybe
big nephew. But long story short, the young homie was killed because in my eyes, I don't think these artists ever get the benefits from their music or their work, and it's usually a white record label that gets the money after they dead. Let's
Right.
stop playing YouTube. These record labels, YouTube, because a lot of people feel these are independent artists and whatever they all feel about them. But at the end of the day, there is a profit generation system already set in place.
Mm-hmm.
It's already put in place, and these people know what makes records sell. Right? One of his number one songs was "Who I Smoke," and y'all know the trend of smoking on a pack after somebody died, and now they make them a pack. You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
You ain't never heard of that? When they smoke a pack, and if you die in the beef, and they smoke you.
They put the ashes in that.
No, it's just like a. That's what they did to Tupac. I think that's where they get it from. They probably because they say they smoked Tupac ashes. These people crazy.
No, I'm just.
I thought it was wild back then.
It is kind of
when they
crazy.
said that they smoked his ass, I say what the what?
But you know, a lot of people. You know, a lot of people. You know, a lot of people didn't know about Julio. It was a lot of people that did.
They know about now in his death.
In his death, a lot of people.
His records are gonna spin. His YouTube videos are gonna go up.
Mhm.
And YouTube is a company and a corporation. These people are profiting off this stuff.
I wonder who's gonna get. So his attorney is the person that was updating everybody. So it looks like
I thought it was his girlfriend.
No, they said from the from the news outlet. It said attorney.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So maybe he had his affairs in order.
What?
Maybe not like that, but if you have okay, so if you have an attorney that's like kind of helping you out, they probably, you know what I mean?
No, the attorneys don't care. They rather oversee your estate.
I mean, but I'm just saying
get money for
somebody
life.
else is gonna. You think they're overseeing it?
I mean,
but the sad part is y'all people when you're out there doing this, the power of the tongue.
Yeah, gotta watch what you say.
You gotta really watch what you say. And his new album was what was it? Resurrection or something like that. I think it was a reincarnation. Reincarnation, because he said it was reincarnation. I was reading, and he said that he had escaped death so many times.
Yeah.
And his post was, thank God this was the best birthday that he ever had, and he's grateful to be able to see another one.
I think it's sad because like I say, they profiting off our pain, man. The young brother had been it had been at least 6 attempts on his life. Probably 5 in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Last 2 years he had got shot in the leg, got shot in the butt, he got shot in everywhere. And what the beef that the street beef, because I feel their rap beef was real beef. This wasn't rap beef. I don't think this they were rapping about real things that were going on, but this was real deal.
I think he was a real street guy.
Yeah, this was real deal
stuff. He was one of the people that actually really lived that. You have a couple of them that we have more. Well, the drill rappers, let's say that.
But okay, I don't know. What I'm gonna say is, because I don't whether they're real or not, whether they're persona, whether it's a character or not. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying, there is a system and a mechanism in place where these people are getting paid billions of dollars from our pain and suffering. From our pain and struggle music, mm-hmm. they're getting billions and billions of dollars, and it's not gonna stop. This young man music is gonna blow up. He might go gold or platinum in death, and his family might get very little bit of that money, because I'm finna be honest. He was in Tampa doing a promo run to get money. He was doing a show, he was doing the pool party, but he was getting money. He was doing little commercials for corner stores and mm-hmm. wig villas and stuff like that. So he grinding. When the artists come into town, they do like a promo run, mm-hmm. right? And then usually they get paid a little something. They make money for themselves.
Yeah.
But the reality is, these corporations and these companies, soon as he died, I know his music went through the roof. I know people went to looking and searching for it. I think
people went to look, and then some people's like, yeah, his music ain't for me.
But see, they still listened.
They listened for a second.
That's all it
takes. Yeah, but to keep all that money to come in, it's gonna have to be something that's gonna be continued.
Yes, I mean,
and so what? Again, I don't see his music, and I could be wrong, continuing to.
I don't know about the continuation of it, but
It's gonna be
but
it's gonna be
music is profitable for decades.
right.
So
It is.
so
It's
they
gonna be
still getting money off Frank Sinatra and some old junk that nobody
good
cared
morning,
about.
Sierra. Good
So
morning,
music
Emily.
is a
Good
forever
morning,
kind of
Tanika.
investment,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they invest in it like they do. But the reality is, the young brother and his family, you never know, they might have the complications putting the man in the ground. You never
I hope
know.
not.
You
Well,
never
I
know
mean, if
what the
he was over here
scenario
doing
is.
promos and he did a show, hopefully some of that can go into. Did he have any kids? Do you know?
I don't know. I think he'll probably keep that on the low because them boys was like really, really, really active at each other.
Yeah.
Because it's a beef. If people don't know, in Gainesville, it's been a lot of beefs and a lot of shootings,
Duval.
a
Yeah.
lot of different
No,
stuff.
I thought he was from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Gainesville, any one of the towns, they smoking packs left and right wherever you go. And the problem is, I think that we get a little piece of the money and think we got something, while these corporations and these
Well,
companies.
so this is my problem. Okay, so I know it's freedom of speech, and then people
Yeah.
listen to this
And
music.
then they say they
No, no,
independent.
no, no,
They
no. That's
independent
wait,
artists.
not that part. Listen, people listen to the music, and again, everybody's not about that life, and then they want to take on that persona and feel like they can't walk in their shoes, but they're not ready for it.
But like you say, this wasn't that guy.
No, I'm talking
This
about
wasn't
other
him.
people. I'm talking about fans
I
now.
hear you. I hear
I'm
you.
talking about people like
The influence.
the influence.
Of the
Yeah,
music.
right. You have children, or you know what I mean, who want to be like
I think that's why.
Fulio,
Yeah, for real.
and not
Seriously.
and they out here thinking like this is where it's at, and then you see where his life ended. And that's not the goal. Is that you become more famous when you die?
So yes, it is. And in the music industry, they're making them like some type of reverse martyrs. Like the people who they want to be like, but they was like street dudes killing each other. You get what I'm saying? Instead of if people know what martyrism is and martyrs is, it's like people who die for the cause and people who lay down their life.
But that's not the cause to
But
die
that's
for.
what I'm telling you. That's how twisted this is.
This is what we're saying. The same
That's
thing.
how I'm saying
Like,
how
but
twisted it is.
we're sending this. That's not the cause.
But
To show how tough you are.
But
Listen,
that's their
to say
call.
that I'm not. I know, but what I'm saying is to say I'm not stepping. I'm not backing down from a beef. I'm not leaving no gun. What is it? No shootout. That's what I'm trying to say. No shootout because I'm real. I'm about that life. And then you go home in a body bag. It's not the objective. It's not the objective. And so listen, all your kids, because people are listening to you. The kids are stuck on iPads and their phones.
And
they're listening to
kids.
I'm just saying. But I ain't talking about the adults right now. I'm talking about the kids. Parents, start monitoring and seeing what your kids listening to. Right? You can't monitor adults. You can't tell them what to listen to and not to listen to. But we can
talk about it because it's a guilty pleasure for me. I like listening to the young brothers. I like they lyrics and the edginess of their lyrics. But then I also know, like in my mind, what it's influencing people to do. I also know that like you say, a lot of them are not really living that life, and they more or less acting. And then you got this new crop of guys. This new crop of guys is all the way out there. They are really doing it. And I think what the problem is, we idolizing them, and they're being built up to be idols. Right. And they're being built up to be looked at by younger people as the people to be like. Yeah. And just really making people lost.
So when we talk about that, because I know we was going to talk about Woody.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Woody.
Woody is the funniest guy on the internet.
YSL Woody. We got 2 minutes on.
That's why I can go.
Go ahead. YSL Woody.
Woody, if y'all haven't seen Woody, so this is another case about a rapper who also
they hanging them high.
Yeah, took lives, did things, was really in the streets allegedly. And his best friend turned state, as they would say, right, against them, and now he's on the stand saying
he acting a plum fool.
Oh, listen.
Yes, he is acting a fool.
How old are you, grown?
He is acting a plum fool. I just
What's
don't.
grown? An adult?
Old enough.
Older, an adult? What is the number of your age? I plead the fifth. And if you know anything about this case, and we're just kind of, if you know anything about the case, their case is built off
Young Woody's testimony.
his testimony, him snitching and going and telling the whole playbook or whatever the case may be, how they want to say it. But now he's coming in and saying, I don't know what I told the police. A matter of fact, I am a liar. He said that. He said, everything I told you was a lie.
Yeah, I want to get out of interrogation.
And I want this, whatever I thought y'all wanted to hear, I said it.
They should have threw the trial out right then. I just think this is, it's crazy what we witnessing.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, because right then, that case should have been over.
It really should have. So now we got to take a quick minute break. 7 minutes. When we get back, the chairman will be in the building.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yes, and we'll be talking about the Uhura 3.
Mm-hmm.
And their trial coming up and everything that's happening around there. Tag a friend, tell a friend. We'll be back 7 minutes after the hour.
Hello, I'm Gabe Ortiz, and this is WEDU Arts Plus. Based out of St. Pete, the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is a morning radio show about hip-hop life and urban culture. Meet the hosts who inform and empower their listeners.
I'm Jabbar Edman. I go by Mr. Edman. My role, I'm a host and I'm co-founder.
My name is Brother John Muhammad, Your Brother John, YourBrotherJohn.com. And my role on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club is host or co-host.
I just go by Kiana. Sometimes you may hear the guys call me Q. I may say Q just depending on my personality that day. And I'm the female of the crew. All right, I think I keep balance when you look at the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. So that's my role.
And I'm Bruce Moore Jr. A lot of people do know Bruce Moore Jr., obviously being born and raised here and going to school here, but there's many more people that know Reno.
St. Pete is small, and so the good things and bad things that come with a small city, you know, everybody knowing each other, of course, would be one of the pluses.
My neighbors were not only just my neighbors, they became my family.
Trying to put that back now, like really getting back to a place where we know our neighbors and we look out for each other. It was a St. Pete that existed, you know, south of Central, and then there was another St. Pete that existed north of Central and downtown. It was a struggle then, and I think it's still, you know, somewhat a struggle for black people in the city of St. Pete.
Even with every step of progress we make, it's still a struggle to, implement that progress.
Did y'all hear about the weed college, the first cannabis college?
In Orlando.
Talk to us,
No, yeah, I've been looking at it.
This is serious, y'all.
Over a year ago.
If you got the charges, go and get the degrees, King. You got years of experience, man. It ain't like you come into a classroom with no data.
Elon Musk said that a drug dealer knows how to manage and run a business better.
I can't believe that.
The real facts, man.
I'm all about education. But what I'm saying is that we carry this industry on our backs.
The way we started the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, Jabbar approached me about what could we do, how can we do something together, and then an opportunity to promote Amendment 4. Amendment 4 is the, voting rights restoration to returning citizens. We were able to negotiate a deal where we got like 30 minutes on the radio, got 99 jams to talk about, Amendment 4 and other local, policies. To returning citizens. We were able to negotiate a deal where we got like 30 minutes on the radio, got 99 jams to talk about, Amendment 4 and other local, policies and politics. Enjoyed it, so we started doing it on Sundays as like a podcast with, at the time, Janet Michelle. She was our co-host and she, filled that role until she moved. And then we had Carla Bristol, Carla B. She came in for a season. And then Reno was behind the scenes. He was always present because we did organizing together, so he'd come and hang out. And then the things that he was saying off camera was like, man, we might as well just have you on the show.
The negative thoughts that you is thinking about right now, or any particular subject, y'all, just flip it.
Turn problems into opportunities.
Problems are opportunities, man. Big shots out to Charles Soprano, man.
Real deal, man.
We on the jump board together right now. Just being around people and clearly always talking, I just felt like at least learn something. So as you see that you're not going to shut up, you can have substance to your conversation and not just be labeled somebody who just love to talk.
Really being informative, looking to give the information that isn't readily available in our community.
Multiple meteorologists can look at the same data and come up with a different forecast.
And so now you take those models, take that data and say, okay, based upon all of that,
Absolutely.
you might be in between here and there, and that's my know what I'm saying speech. Most recently, after Carla B, transitioned out and went to do other things as well, Kiana, we invited Kiana.
I've been working with the guys for a while outside of this, and they called me to interview. And when I came in to interview that Sunday, after the show, they was like, hey, you need to be a part of the show. And I was like, okay.
I look at it almost like a band and the instruments, but it's just the instrument that we're using is our voices.
My voice is already kind of squeaky. I know my voice can get squeakier.
You have to have your radio voice on and have that vocal control.
I talk lower when I need to calm it down. And when I'm very passionate about it, I slow it down. And because I want you to understand what I'm saying. What's good for the geese is good for the gander. So if you keep it secrets, just know that she can too.
Okay, and see that's why Kiana, that's why you need it on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. You feel? Because you gonna even things out. You know what I'm saying? I was just joking. You know what I'm saying? It was joking.
We just understand power, and in terms of people's attention, because it costs. People's attention costs. That's why it's called pay attention.
We want to present local information right up there with, the trending topics.
One thing that's a common denominator with all of us is that we're all passionate about our people.
For me, what you take from me is that I'm real and I'm passionate about the growth of our people.
The overall goal, I would say, is to have a more informed community. Around electoral politics, around health, around equity.
It's about the mission of connecting the dots and closing the gaps, inspiring people to see what's possible, and trying to be an example. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes, but you do the best that you can with what you have, and you pray that others will be inspired to join in.
For more info, visit cdatcenter.org/Tampa Bay Breakfast Club.
To returning citizens, we were able to negotiate a deal where we got like 30 minutes on the radio at 99 Jams to talk about, Amendment 4 and other local.
Decades of sporadic Islamist violence in the region and the risk that it could return.
And just like that, we are back. We are back. If you are tuned in, thank you for joining us back for the second hour. This is the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, and I am Kiana.
And I'm the one and only Mr. Edmond.
And we're brought to you by the New Image Project, better known as
See That.
Because we are redefining
What's cool.
Because smart
is the new
gangsta.
Baby.
And if you didn't know,
now you know.
No.
Now they know.
Can you hear us, Jam?
Yes, we are loud because I hear it right here.
Yeah.
And we have welcome back for the second hour. We have a special guest that has joined us from the probably one of the longest running movements that we have in America, period. Not just St. Pete. From the Uhuru movement, the African People's Socialist Party, Chairman O'Malley Yashatella. Thank you for joining us.
And y'all just celebrated 60 years.
Well, we celebrated 50 some odd years, and but I've been doing this longer.
Yeah, longer than the organization.
Longer than this particular iteration of our organization.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a lot going on, so we really want to just jump into it.
Before we jump in it right quick, because I'm just gonna answer one of the questions from like right before we got to how did rappers become role models?
Okay.
Parents became absent in the household. Like when you look at your role models and things like that, when you're
but I got one.
You say ooh, and you can answer too. I'm just thinking when you look at role models,
part of it,
is when people go outside of their household to look for role models. It's because it's something missing in the household. When you sit down and give time to your children, and you dedicate and take time to invest in them, you become their role models, and then they not necessarily we don't subscribe to all, but they don't have to look outside to find something else. But go ahead.
So what I was gonna say is that I think when rap and hip hop jumped off, it was like a learning thing, and it was a way of passing the message, right? And then I think what happened was those people did become like teachers, and people did look at them as like role models. And then the music changed. You know what I mean? Then it went from a grandmaster and all this to an OG.
Right.
You get what I mean?
So even when you looked at gangster rap before, it was a fight for the revolution. You know what I mean? Like it was a way to come out and for your voice to be heard and for the masses to see how we were being done. Now what you got is us showing beef and how to disrespect each other instead of how to stand with each other and unity and fight the oppression and the things that are against us. But now we're fighting amongst each other. So that's the difference of rap then and now. Now that's my opinion.
Let me just say that I think it's important to remember that Tupac, who's iconic as a hip hop rapper, what have you, his mother was a Afeni Shakur. His mother was a member of the Black Panther Party. His mother was one of the Panther 21 members of the Black Panther Party who were located in New York and who were framed up on 100 and some odd charges of conspiracy in 1969, who, when she was 8 months pregnant, after being locked up for a couple of years almost, she is the one who defended all of them and won the case. And the point I want to make is that the music reflects the state of our movement. And that the consciousness of the rappers are a reflection of the consciousness of the leading forces in our community who are leading struggle, etc. That's why during the 60s, you heard Aretha Franklin, who was talking about freedom. That was one of the most outstanding kind of songs that she had. And then after the defeat of the revolution, she was Who's Zooming Who. So the fact is that part of what we're looking at is that families do not exist in isolation from society. We are social forces. So families should do things, but the society that we are part of, there are leading elements in this society that define and sort of shape where we're trying to go. And the objective of our oppressors is to make sure that these leading elements in our communities, these leading forces, are silenced. So when they're silenced, then you will see that reflected in the music and other kinds of things like that. And then rap in the 1980s, it attempted to articulate the contradictions that we were having in the real world. And this is where people were summing up. And Tupac, was a reflection of that. Tupac, by the way, as an example, when he was with Digital Underground, you're familiar with that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, well, the manager of Digital Underground, his mother, her son, was in our work. As you say, and Tupac, they rehearsed as Digital Underground. They rehearsed at the Uhuru House in Oakland, California. So my point is that the music is a reflection of the society or the leading forces in the society. The struggle of Black people to be free, that was the thing that was doing it. And then when they crushed that, then the music changed. It changed and went in all these other crazy ways.
It surely did. Caller, introduce yourself. They hung up. Call back.
Yeah, call back. We have the chairman O'Malley here. We're talking about we're just talking about the movement. We're talking about his upcoming trial coming up. We want to talk about the history, so we want to build up and talk about a little bit of the history, but we also want to talk about what y'all facing, what's going on, and like how can the community come and help and be a part.
Right on.
Yes.
So as y'all build, like you here in St. Pete, I know y'all got y'all got several other chapters and all over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I want to I love and respect about the movement, because you're just not here. Right, the battle just ain't here, and it's never just been here, but it's always been all around. So how have y'all been engaging in other communities as well?
Well, we are in various places within this country, but we're also in the Caribbean. We exist in England and France, and we have footprints in Germany and Belgium and Sweden and Holland, for that matter. So we've had a presence there. We at different times, and so in St. Louis, where I'm living right now, which is where the federal government attacked my home at pre-dawn in the morning, bringing armored personnel carriers and assault weapons and the whole 9 yards, grenades thrown in the house and around the neighborhood, terrorizing the entire community.
And this is for a non-violent attack, right? There was no. They didn't say that y'all.
No, they didn't. They didn't. No, we weren't even charged or accused of doing something violent. And this is extraordinary because the entire case is a fabrication. But they want to put me in prison 15 years on a fabricated thing, and they want to put me in prison for the same thing I've been doing all my life. Or most of my life. And you remember, well, you're too young for that, but in 1991, we were attacked at the Uhuru House here in St. Petersburg, Florida. 300 different iterations of police organizations with the National Guards stationed there at the Dome and what have you. And this is after they murdered Tyrone Lewis.
Okay.
And they murdered Tyrone Lewis. Then the people rose up and what have you, and they attacked us. That is to say, the government attacked us, and then they attacked us. That was in October, and then November, when we were having a meeting to deal with the grand jury's hearing around that case, they attacked us again. They attacked us and declared that the meeting that we were having in our own building, was something like an illegal meeting, to something to that effect. And so they attacked the building. They came with tear gas. They used all the tear gas in the city of St. Petersburg. You remember that? There was no tear gas left in the city of St. Petersburg after that attack on us. They set trees on fire around the place. They threatened people, terrorized the entire. They burned houses in the black community in this assault that they made on us. So this was for what? Because they said they were concerned of what we were going to say about the grand jury. Every attack they've made on me, it has been around speech, free speech. They killed Malcolm because of what he said. He wasn't armed. They killed King because of what he said. He wasn't armed. They attacked Marcus Garvey because of what he said. He wasn't armed. He was organizing black people and talking about freedom. And that's the thing that's intolerant. They cannot tolerate, because obviously it has to be illegal. Freedom is illegal for a slave. You see, I mean, that's just built into the law. Who makes the law? The ones who own slaves, not the slaves ourselves. Who makes the law? The colonizer, not those of us who are colonized. And they make law to sustain their power. And who do they have to sustain their power from? From those they've enslaved, from the land they've taken from the indigenous people here who are living in concentration camps that they call Indian reservations. This is the country that we live in. And that's always been the country we lived in. And that's the thing they don't want us talking about. Because they can, they can tolerate a lot of discussions, and they do tolerate a lot of discussion. And there are people who call themselves leaders who know the limits. That's what you can say. And you go beyond this, then you have to really question what you believe in and what you're willing to do in terms of actual liberation for our people. And that's the whole thing that it's all about.
I feel like they don't like people to make them accountable for their actions. They want people who stay in there, like you say, that knows their limitations. So when you know your limitations, you don't put accountability in there because you know that you can't step over to correct someone when you know your limitations.
Wow. I want to say that the, like you say, freedom of speech and our speech, and that's one thing we here at Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. We all about free speech, people getting their opinion out, people getting how they feel out. So as for black people, so we can only say or talk about certain things within like the permission, right? But then you have people who want to step outside of that, right? They get ostracized, people call them names. People attack their character, and I kind of feel, like, honestly, to my heart, feel that's what happened with this raid. Right? They raided. They did the raid. They had secret meetings, and then in those meetings, it was discussions about things that, for me, the government shouldn't be calling meetings of black leaders to talk about other black leaders.
Yeah, they did it. They talked to so-called black leaders in the city. The thing that makes it insidious is that everybody in St. Petersburg who's been here for a minute, anybody who knows my history, I don't have a history of robbery, violence, drugs. I'm opposed to all of the things like that, and they know that. In fact, in 1960 something, we put out that was when drugs were first being actually introduced to this community. I had a press conference, and I said that drug pushers are going to have to be out of this community by the first of the year. We know who you are. We know who you are, and that if you're not out by the first of the year, we'll move you out. And what happened was the attorney, local guy here, state attorney, they call they called me before a grand jury. They called me before a grand jury. They had the media there and what have you, and they said that okay, who is the drug dealers, etc. So they don't put me on Front Street like this, right?
They wanted you to be the snitch.
Not just a snitch, but a public snitch. You know, public snitch, which destroys my credibility. They did this. You understand? So, and they knew who it was. And in fact, there was a time when the guy who was the chief of police in this city sent me a message that if we would kill this guy who was notorious in this city as a drug pusher, that's how they characterized him. If we kill him, they wouldn't mind. This was a message sent to me. So, and what I did was call a rally and told the whole community this is what they're trying to do. Because you can't hire me. You can't hire me. You understand, to go out and assassinate somebody black. We're going to get rid of them, but the community is going to get rid of them. We put up pictures of drug pushers. We put them all over the community, et cetera, this kind of thing, but they're going to hire me.
So, hire you and then arrest you.
This is why. And I'm glad you said that, because people don't know those type of stories. Yeah. People don't know. People don't know that you've always been conscious. The movement has always been conscious of what's going on in the community around, whether it's drugs, no matter what it is. Y'all always been proactive of trying to stop it and make the community better.
When that mural was up, you know, the mural that I was sentenced to 5 years in prison for tearing that mural down.
The racist mural that was in City Hall.
In City Hall. 8 by 10 foot mural that depicted black people looking like monkeys. You understand? This is up there for years. It's up there since the 1930s. We asked the mayor to take the thing down. Black people had quietly complained about it, but nobody would do anything. And so when we were having a march around that mural, black quote unquote leaders got together with people from the St. Petersburg Times and had a meeting in one of the most prominent black churches in this city. I found out about it because of two people. One, a man named Dean Moore, who was a really courageous black man with just great history and what have you, and O.B. McLean, who was a teacher here. And they told me this is what was happening. So I busted into the meeting where they're having with this, and they kicked me out of the meeting. But on the 24th, we took this mural down on December 29th, 1966. On December 24th, we had a demonstration in front of the church. You understand? On Christmas Eve, we had a demonstration in front of the church to call them to account. You know, you can't do this. You can't sell the community out. You don't have to agree with us, but you don't get in touch with these guys and then use them against us and against the community. And then when we took the mural down, all these leading guys saying, well, we didn't like the mural either. We just didn't like the way it was taken down. Well,
what did you? What you want? You wanted to stay up there, Like at this point, when you ask nicely, it's not done. It's like but it's down now and everybody's great.
And it hasn't been put back up. So that shows that the right move was made. And I hate that you had to go up the road and do time about it, because that, in my eyes, you did a service for the community. They should have gave you a paycheck.
Yeah, but the thing is that we do this. I mean, like I said, slavery is illegal. Freedom is illegal for the slave. And they're the ones who make the laws, and they want the mural was really powerful and significant because what it did was when you go to the seat of power in this city, the city hall, you go into the city council meeting, every black person in the city had to pass that mural, had to see that mural. And that was a statement about what our station is to be. Every white person who went there saw that mural also, and that reinforced the relationship that they had with black people. And the thing that caused us to initiate these struggles in the first place is because the city was receiving a $50 million grant from the federal government that was supposed that was sent to this city, and they said they were going to use it to beautify downtown White St. Petersburg.
Yeah,
Said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. But there were no paved streets. There were few paved streets in the black community. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
And so we said, no, some of those resources are going to have to come to this community. So we protested, et cetera, and then they wouldn't do anything. Then the mural thing became the example that we could use, the symbol that we could use, something about the status of our people, et cetera. And we tore it down, and they gave me 5 years in prison. Which is what they're supposed to do. So slaves trying to get out of slavery, they would do that. They put Nat Turner on trial. Did you know that? They tried Nat Turner before they hanged him. They put him on trial and then found him guilty. But if he had been found innocent, he still would have been enslaved.
He can't win freedom.
Anyway,
Yeah, so, okay. Woo, thank you for that. And so speaking...
We got a caller. Before we go in, let's
caller. We got the Chairman O'Malley here, from the Uhuru, the African People's Socialist Party.
Go ahead.
No, I'm here.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, and I know who you got there. That's my man. This is your brother John.
Oh, brother John.
Oh, hey, brother John.
Good to see you, Chairman, as always, man.
Thank you so much, my brother.
So sorry I couldn't be there, but I just wanted to comment on a few things that I've been hearing, and the first thing I want to say is, we can't allow our enemies to choose our friends, and so we got a lot of pushback, and I've faced criticism for standing with the chairman, but we just raised different, in the struggle. And so one of the things that I'm always mindful of is when your enemies try to choose who your friends should be, we need to be wary. And also the mural, and thank you for the mural. And as an active city council member right now, we do a lot of tours and we bring people in. And every meeting that I have, I walk, those who are there for their first time, I walk them out and I point to that wall. And I tell them why that wall is still blank. You know what I mean? And I always, take that as an opportunity to give them some history about, what the significance of why that wall is there and why it's still blank and your contribution to the city and to the movement. And then last thing is I just want to recognize and appreciate you for your courage, your consistency, your fearless leadership over the years. And, just if you could have a message for those who, are in the struggle right now and those who may be, experiencing a little bit of battle fatigue and getting tired, man. How do you, navigate that and what keeps you going and maybe giving a word to those who may be feeling like, we've been fighting this struggle for years and some cases it feels like we're going backwards and not really seeing the change. And so what message would you have to those who may be experiencing a little battle fatigue, man, and something to get us to keep going and to continue to struggle. And I just want to thank you for your leadership.
Well, thank you. I want to appreciate you, Brother John. And in terms of people choosing our friends and the whole question of free speech, you remember a time, and I'm pointedly making this comment to you, when every time a black man ran for office, one of the tests that he would have to pass, or a black woman, was whether he supported Louis Farrakhan.
Yep.
Couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. You understand? If you did that you faced the wrath of hell and what have you. So this is a determination. They are determined to say who your friends are. Your friends, not we didn't say their friends, but what our friends have to be who they say is good or who is bad. In fact, you should be cautious when you see them really grabbing and holding up and loving, somebody from your community. So this whole thing about being able to choose our friends is really important. Anybody else doing that for us is really important. And one of the things, Brother John, is that one of the things I appreciated about the original Nation of Islam under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I don't know where the nation is around this question now, because it was profoundly significant in raising the question of Black people as a nation. And a nation has to have its own government. And a nation doesn't find itself looking for freedom by integrating with those who are taking away your nationhood, your nationality, your capacity for self-determination, your capacity for self-government. And in terms of what keeps me moving is that I don't run on that treadmill. Because you can get on a treadmill and you can run like hell, but you aren't going any place. You're just running. You can get sweaty. You can pass out on a treadmill. And the objective is to know what it is. To what end are you involved in this stuff? To what end? To make white people like you, to make the government say everything is all right? Or do you want power in your own life? Who should make the determination of whether our children are going to have a future or not? Is that permissible for anybody other than ourselves to make that decision? I say no. And especially when you look at the fact that we're talking about the issue of free speech, for example. The Bill of Rights, the free speech was passed in 1791. It was a constitution that was created by people who escaped from tyranny in England and other places. And they wanted to create a government that could not do tyranny.
What they did to them.
Right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, in 1791, Black people on plantation working for free, being whipped, beaten. It wasn't for us, right? And it wasn't for the indigenous people whose land they've stolen and occupy at this moment. It wasn't for them.
Yeah, the Bill of Rights was for them.
It was
alone.
for them. It was for them alone. And so what happens is that our struggles in this country forced them to begin to say, okay, you got some rights. It took a civil war to say that, okay, you got some rights. But even that wasn't good enough because you saw a situation, it was in, 1857, this guy, the Supreme Court. People like to point to Taney, who was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, made a ruling that Black people had no rights. A Black man has no rights that a white man has to honor. Yeah. And this was the Supreme Court. This wasn't some white guy. It wasn't the Ku Klux Klan, but the Supreme Court that said that. The same Supreme Court where you have people sitting on it and taking bribes. That's noticed right now from various forces. So the Supreme Court made that ruling, and it took struggle by Black people for them to force to say, okay, you got some rights. That was while they were assassinating people who were just trying to register to join Joe Biden's party. That's where they were using high-powered water hoses on children who were just trying to register to join Joe Biden's party. That's where they bombed Birmingham and killed babies just for trying to register to join Joe Biden's party. This is the kind of stuff that was happening at the time. And by the way, I was a participant in the struggle for civil rights and for voting rights, et cetera. So all of that stuff happened, but it didn't provide freedom for us. And what also transpired was Black people continued to move toward a greater understanding. This was historically an understanding. That's why we had Marcus Garvey, who was the first victim of the FBI from our community more than 100 years ago. So the thing is, you got to know where you're going. If you know what your objective, to what end. If your end is to integrate into this country, you will be running in circles and you'll be exhausted all the time. You'll be on that treadmill that you run. You can run like, you can do it boldly. You can do it seriously enough that they will kill you and your family, but you got to what end? Yeah. That's the objective. And I know where it is I'm going. And because I know that, I know my proximity to the conclusion that I'm fighting for, and I can see that. But if you don't, if you're just on the treadmill, you're just trying to force them to like you, you can't make them like you. Because if you do anything in your own interest, they will dislike you. Yeah. They would dislike you. They say, that Negro act like Joe Waller.
Listen, and the reality is, I think I most definitely grew up in this city, and I know the kind of dirt and the kind of mud they try to sling on your name.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it took me growing up, going to prison, coming home, and then just really objectively looking at it for myself and just looking and like, wait, hold on. They got a radio station. They got all this stuff they bring into our community. Yeah. Why is we letting these people tell us something about something where we watching happen?
Yeah. We watching them. They want to change the narrative.
Yes,
so
if
you let them, whenever somebody's doing something positive and trying to bring awareness and pull people together, it's really quick to try to throw something on their name. And even that recently, we could see it. We could say on ourselves, we're all about accountability and making sure that St. Pete stay vibrant and connected. And because we are saying the Raise Hines deal is not a good deal, now we don't like people. We're against everybody. Like we've
people who we are right with through everything else. Ain't no problems. But now there's an issue. And the hurtful thing about it is that we just want better for the community.
That's it. We don't. That's all.
Well, that's a fundamental question. You know, first of all, I was born in what they call the gas plant area. And they call it the gas plant area because they had these huge tanks in the black community, in the middle of the black community. One of those, if not just environment, if that tank had ever exploded, it would destroy the whole African community and what have you. In fact, when they took it from us with the assistance of black city council person, when they took it from us, they and started working on that, they had to wear special boots and stuff like that because the contamination that was in the soil. We grew up in that. We lived in that. It was never an issue. So then they took it and they destroyed businesses, hundreds of families who lived there, churches who lived there, schools that were there. All of this stuff they destroyed and wiped it out. So like we don't exist anymore. And now they come up with the dirty deals. The thing is, you know, you look at Jordan Park. Where'd that come from? You know where that came from?
Elder Jordan.
Who did it for who?
For us. For the community.
Jordan Elementary School. Where did that land come from? And you see all this other stuff. Black people did that. And we had to do it because white people didn't want to have anything to do with us. We had to create it for us, and we did it. And now they take it.
And they don't want nothing to do with us until they need us.
And
they need us quite often.
Yeah.
It's election year. They need us this year.
Well, Biden in big time trouble, you know. And, I mean, this is the guy who, even doing civil rights work and stuff like that, Biden was opposed to the civil rights bill. Biden was opposed to the civil rights bill. Biden was opposed to even busing that Negroes say they love because he said he didn't want his children to go to school in the jungle. Biden was opposed to reparations. He was opposed to reparations even at this moment, etc. And the Democratic Party, and I don't apologize. First of all, the dome, that land should come back to black community. I have no problem saying, I don't care if you say I don't like somebody. I don't like oppression. I don't like exploitation. I don't like theft of our people and our community and our dignity. So that's our land. That should come back to black people's land, to our people. And not just because I was born there. I mean, the thing is that it was a part of the community. And you look at the crisis that we're talking about. We ran a campaign in 2017, 2019 election. And part of the election campaign that we ran on, one was reparations, and the other thing had to do with gentrification, make the South Side black again.
I remember that.
And they destroyed the South Side. And guess what? The thing is, what they've done, this dome should come back to black people, should be able to build housing on that for black people on that. If you do that, it helps everybody because it takes the pressure off the housing market. So the housing prices go down, rent's affordable, and people can buy stuff in other places. But they don't want that because the market demands high rent, a high cost of housing, and this kind of stuff. And black people can't even afford to live here anymore.
But they're gonna give it away to this team. For a discounted rate. A discount, and that's why I'm like, hey man, we need to have profit sharing. We need to do something creative because the honest to God truth is, this land, we're not making no more land in Pinellas County. We are built up, and I think we are landlocked. That's what they call it. We are landlocked county, and I think that some of this stuff got to be looked at differently.
I think we have to demand it. I don't think we need demand it. It's ours. We want it back. You took it from us. We want it back. You double crossed us. You were gonna put some light industries so black people could have jobs. You did. That's the lie they told. At the city council, they told that lie. and the majority of black people didn't want it. Then they took it, using the power of eminent domain and cooperation with a particular black person who was on the city council. They took that land from black people, deprived black people from dignity and the place to grow out children again. You can't take your child back. Here you live in the city. You're born someplace, and you don't know if 20 years from now you can be able to take your child and say, "This is where I was born. This is where I grew up. I went to school over here." Except you can't do that anymore. They did that, and these Negroes facilitated right here. They facilitate. Take the land back. It belongs to us, and you can't have freedom by them.
You know what you see too. When you have conversations individually, it's easy to persuade one person because you can sell them on the dream, right? But then when you have a group of people that listen to the whole thing and poke holes in it, now you need to listen to the masses.
Yeah.
So what happens is, people come in there and somebody will sell them on whatever you think they want what they think you want to hear. And that's what you reckon on because that sounds amazing. It's the presentation and it's the agreement, right? So they sell you on the presentation, but then when everybody else said, no, that's a facade. It's the smoke and mirror.
Yeah.
When do you stop and say, hey, let me listen to the masses and not the one?
And they sell you on the limitations. They say, well, you can't do this. See, here's what the thing is. The rules are you have to do such and such a thing. Ask John Muhammad. He would tell you what happened when he got on the city council. They take you through this entire process to make sure that you adapt to the procedures, the rules. This is how the stuff works. And that's in the city, that's in the county, that's in the state legislature and what have you. So they want to make you one of the club. You're not somebody who's going to break out of.
So what happens
that's
when
like indoctrination?
No, but once they tell you the rules,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But then they don't follow those same rules.
Yeah, this is not for them. It's for you.
Hey, I hate to say this,
things that make you say,
but the reality is we're in a community right now. That's kind of, I think this is another building boom. We're at a spot where this is like a catalyst moment for the city. And I think it's important, like for the black community, for our neighborhoods and our communities to be more involved and to get more active, because if the decisions that's going to be made today is the decisions that our children and our families going to live with tomorrow, whether they be here or not, whether they in Ruskin because they can't afford to live here, whether they in Tarpon because it's cheaper to get an apartment up there, because we have to stand up and get involved. Caller, you got a question for the chairman?
Yeah, this is Dr. Basha Jordan. I'm calling. First of all, I want to say I really appreciate what Minister Yashiteli has doing, what he is doing presently. I'd like to know what he thinks about the upcoming court case that he's participating in. What is he looking for as far as the outcome is concerned, and what can African Americans do in St. Petersburg to have more influence in our community?
Well, I think that's the critical question, because the fact is that after they raided my home in St. Louis and my home here in St. Petersburg, though I wasn't here. You should have seen the numbers of FBI agents.
Oh, yeah, they told.
And after they did that, one of the things that agents end up asking, first of all, they told us this is going to be in the news. This is going to be in the news tomorrow or later this morning. And then they asked another person who was associated with us, they arrested, they asked, what did the people think of that? What do people think of that? Was the critical question.
They want to know what the people
think. They shut down the whole neighborhood where my house is. They actually, people had to show ID to leave their homes. You understand? And to leave their homes and to come back. They weren't charged with anything. Why did they have to do that, right? And they did that here. They did that in St. Louis as well. So the people are critical, and they know that. The people are fundamental, and they know that. And people here and various other places where we do work around the world know that this is a fabricated case. They know the history of the FBI in terms of attacking Black people who are trying to move toward freedom. And so that was there. But the question now is organization and people being organized and people being coming into the process. So what I would tell you is that the trial is scheduled for September 3rd in Tampa. And we are saying that from now to September 3rd, we're calling that the long, hot summer. And the long, hot summer, we're going to be doing all kinds of work in the city of St. Petersburg and the Tampa Bay area. We will be mobilizing people for August 31st. We're having a major mobilization here, bringing in people who are recognized throughout the African world, our community, and others to participate in a massive rally. And then in addition to the rally, we will have marches, and we will have, this will go on certainly by the 31st, but even now we're beginning to organize.
Yeah.
No, we're doing more than that. They charged us, Reverend Jordan, Pastor Jordan, with the Russians. They said the Russians paid for the elections participation in 2017 and 2019. And one of the persons who they had as a non-indicted co-conspirator with Russia initially was Akile Anayi. They decided not to indict her. I mean, the charges are so bogus anyway, but they're going to see her again because she's going to be running again for the city council this coming election. So the point is, that's one thing. And so people can get in touch with us. And we want mass participation by the people. And we have a phone number for anybody who wants to get in touch locally. It's 727-914-3617. We'll say that again.
Yeah, we'll say it again. Caller, you got a question for the chairman?
Yes. Good morning.
Hey, introduce yourself.
Yeah. First of all, my name is Sayero, and I'm out of Battle Creek, Michigan.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, Uhuru, Comrade Chairman.
Uhuru, Comrade Sayero.
My question is, I heard a question early on. How do you keep it flowing? How do you get people to realize the reality that we really live in today and how urgent the call is? I have heard you mention that this has been going on forever. This is not just the beginning. It's nothing new. But could you explain how we then begin to hit this ground in droves and compel people to really get involved? Can you explain that?
Well,
please?
yeah, thank you. I just want to say that there are huge efforts made to keep us from talking to each other. Sometimes even from pulpits that we pay for, in terms of churches and stuff like that, they want to lock that out. But we have to do it on the ground. We know that Zuckerberg, you have this thing called Facebook, jail and what have you. You can't even, black people have to learn a special language even to communicate on Facebook because they want to make sure that we don't say anything that will mobilize people. So our objective is to be in these communities and digging in a very deep way, mobilizing and educating people because people are being miseducated. That's the problem. It's not that they're not getting educated. They're being miseducated, educated wrongly. So that's what our responsibility is. We do that through our newspaper. We do that like we are doing right now. We do that in the neighborhoods. That's the work that we have to do. Nobody's going to do that for us. And that's the hard work. And that's the thing they're trying to prevent from occurring. And, like here you are, Sayero, in Battle Creek, Michigan. And I'm going to just say,
Battle Creek, Michigan.
I just want to say that they say that the Russians are responsible for what I do, but St. Petersburg can take all the credit.
St. Petersburg, Florida.
And St. Petersburg took me to Battle Creek, Brother Sayero, and took me to South Africa, and took me to Nicaragua, and took me to Moscow, and took me to England, and the various other places. I've left St. Petersburg. This is where my education about the condition of black people started. And this is St. Petersburg, Florida, not St. Petersburg, Russia, even though St. Petersburg, Florida is named for St. Petersburg, Russia. Yeah.
It's some dualities. It's some stuff going on here that's kind of we got to figure out later on.
I have a question. With everything that's been going on, have any of the black leaders here reached out to you?
Please.
Please. But I think like I say we are a special place and they have worked they magic in this community. They have really operationalized like what they doing because I'm gonna tell you, just growing up, like I grew up here. Like I'm born and raised here, so I've seen it and I know it, and then something in my mind say, hey, who's thinking for you right now? Like who's thinking for you right now? Do you have the information or are they giving you information? Because there's always a rumor, there's always something. I'm like, what is this? it felt odd because I went to ask myself, what is this? And then I learned. I actually took the time and educated myself about the African Socialist Party. That is a party. That is it's a movement. Like when y'all start running candidates and doing all that, like in my mind, I'm like, this is a party, y'all. This ain't what y'all saying. This is a political party, and these people are really building in the community. What's wrong?
I mean, at one point in time, I was miseducated.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I had to educate myself.
Right, you had to search the knowledge and go and find the truth from the lies.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because
the truth from the fiction.
You really do, and like what they say, people believe made up lie over the butt naked truth, right?
Dressed up lie over butt naked truth. Yes.
All the time, and so that's why. And I know last time, because you've been here a couple of times, and you said that you're willing to sit down and speak to anybody who wants to speak to you about this.
Oh yeah.
And because this is so important, this is going to be another mark in our history that everybody should want to know the facts, so they know where they stand at and not just hear one side.
Yes, or just listen to the government. I mean, I when the raid happened, a reporter had called me and was like, "Hey, Jabbar, you heard about the meeting?" I'm like, "What you talking about?" I'm like, "We talking." And he's like, "You heard about the meeting? What meeting?" "Oh yeah, the FBI met with all the black leaders." I'm like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "Whoa!" Hey, I had to back off from the phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then he was like, "Hey, you want to go on record?" I say, "Yeah, I'll go on record right now. This sounds like COINTELPRO. I read a lot of books. I educated myself, and this sounds like line by line what the COINTELPRO operation does. And having secret meetings, who does that? Like they don't indict people. Then have a meeting with another group of people to talk about the indictment. Well, it wasn't even an indictment at that time because it was unindicted co-conspirators. Right. So, because the dude read it to me, he was like, "Hey, I'm going to read you what I got." And when he read, I'm like, it just doesn't sound right. Yeah. It sounds like a what they call the campaign, influence campaign, where they're trying to influence people and then get the community to turn against you, so then they can do and have their way and do whatever they want while everybody turned against you. And that's why I was like, wait, hold on, well, if you think I'm finna say that, I ain't finna say that. I'm finna tell you about what I think I see. Yeah. And this is what I see. And it just, from my distance, this is what it really looks like. It looks like a COINTELPRO operation.
And what it happens is what they do. They do these horrible things. And then 15 years from now, they submit an apology. Yeah. And then, but the damage has been done. Yeah. We don't want no more apologies afterward. Yeah. Like, because we're smart enough at this point that we can stop it before it even happens. That we don't have to wait for 10 years from now, because we see what's going on. We see the mess that's happening. We see that it's bad. Why wait for the apology? We don't want no apology. We want it done right now, where it is done properly and right. And this case is full of crap.
Well, the thing is, I appreciated reading comments from John Muhammad and you in the fish wrapper, and I say that as somebody who used to work for them as a youngster. I was one of the first Negroes, those Negro first things. I was there, and I appreciated that, and I was able to distinguish that from blatant lies and suggestions made by other people who know better, It's not like they didn't know; they know better. Yeah. These are people I've worked with. These are people who know what I've done. They haven't accused me of doing anything that I haven't been doing for 60 years. They know better. Mm-hmm. And but I want to say, in terms of some of those leaders, I mean, like, Goliath Davis was somebody who I worked really closely with, especially after the rebellions here around Tyrone Lewis. And when he became chief of police, in fact, Goliath Davis, after that raid that I told you about, where they came at 300 strong, and Goliath Davis became chief of police. He says, "Chief of police, we're going to treat the Uhuru House as an embassy." He said, "Nobody is going to be arrested at that Uhuru House." That's what Goliath Davis did. And he came under fierce assault because of that. In fact, they would treat Goliath Davis, the city council would call Goliath Davis before them and treat him like a criminal because he was black and because he supported us. Yeah. He supported and what we said is that we don't need a public policy of police containment of the black community. We need a public policy of economic development of the black community. And when Goliath Davis became chief of police, he said this. He said that we don't need this policy of police containment. We need economic development. He said this. And so Goliath was one of those persons who stood well with us. But, you know, I was there when Reverend Sykes' son was kicked out of the mall because he had his hat on backwards. I initiated the picket.
I remember that.
I initiated the picket
I remember that.
to defend his son. Another preacher went and made a private deal with the mall that broke up the unity around that question. I was there, you know, like when the good Reverend was accused of bilking the white people, insurance companies, or something to that effect, and they charged him with this stuff. At the same time, you had these cases going on where the Catholic priests were raping babies, children all around the country, and they wanted to know our opinion on him. Like he became the poster child for Christian immorality and what have you. And when I heard, and I was told that the FBI was going to walk into the church on Sunday and arrest him in the pulpit, I had a press conference to say, you ain't going to do that. You're not going to disrespect black people. Like, I don't even go to church unless it's to speak to people like yourself. But you can't do that to my community. You can't disrespect black people like that. Yes, I said it and I stood up against it, and that's been my history historically. And when a preacher, there's a Negro leader in this city historically, I mean, we don't like each other at all. I can't stand the fella, tell you the truth. And one preacher came to me and said, O'Malley, the white people will give us the money. All we got to do is condemn this guy. I said, no. You can't pay us. You can't pay us I'm going to kick his butt myself. You understand? But you ain't going to have the white people to tell me you're going to give me some money if I do that. That's been my stance historically. That's my stance now. And this whole thing about the Russians paying me, they don't think I work for Russians. They're concerned because I don't work for them.
That's it. And you have morals. You stand on your morals and your principles. And just because somebody else does something does not change who you are.
No.
Because just think, if you don't like him, it would be easy for you to throw dirt, do whatever on him, but that's not who you are as a person. You can't be bought.
That's it. That's the problem. And people have tried. I'm telling you, people have tried. They've tried. I mean, a guy who was a leader in the Presbyterian Church, at one juncture threw the keys to the car keys, new car across the desk to me, and then showed me a house that they own here in St. Petersburg and said, it's yours. And I jumped on the desk and, you know, I cussed him out miserably. I don't cuss like that anymore, but I was a young person then. That was like Jabbar's age. But anyway, so they've offered it. That was $50,000 right here. A wealthy white guy who had established a business on 34th Street, Ceridian. Is that what it was called?
Yep, Ceridian.
Asked me to come to his office. I came to his office and sat down. He said, I want to give you $50,000. I'm going to give you $50,000. I said, no, don't give it to me. Give it to the coalition. I want you to give it to the coalition, not to me. He said, no, I don't want to give it. I want to give it to you personally. I want to give it to you. I said, no. He told me a Negro leader in this city said I gave him $50,000. You understand? And but I wouldn't take the money from him.
Because then they own you.
Of course they do.
But see, it feels like such a crisscross, double cross, backstabbing game they play.
Of course they do.
Crisscross, double
yeah.
cross.
Oh yeah. I already gave him his 50. You don't want yours?
Yeah.
But then that's how.
But that's planting the seeds of your sin.
But no, this is how you see they then control you. Like, look at this. Now this is.
They give me some money. I'm just bucking.
Yeah.
I'm from the South Side, man. Give it to me.
No,
watch. Write it to me. I'm going buck.
No, but what happens is then they buy your silence. They then control every move you make. Because you see this, like, this ain't got nothing to Diddy. Somebody give you some money as soon as you step out of pocket.
Yeah, now you're talking about brotherly love and all that. We want the bad boy. We pay for the bad boy.
And I'm not saying that he didn't do it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
That ain't really the fundamental issue that we're dealing with, because the guy talked bad about the other guy he had given the money to, and the other guy who he gave the money talks bad about me all the time. You understand? But the guy talked bad about him. And then there was an instance where, this Baywalk was on Similar was the chief guy. The primary guy who represented Similar here had a meeting with me, and a couple of other people were in the room, and wanted to turn over to me, because they couldn't get African people there, or they couldn't control the young people when they came there. So I said, "Here, that's simple. What we do is put together an economic entity right there in the middle of the thing that African people would be able to collectively, that's ours. The black community could participate in it. That's ours." He said, "That's a great idea. That's a great idea." And he wanted us to do this. Brother sitting out there waiting with me right now was the key force that we were dealing with this guy, except then at Baywalk, they mistreated some Africans out there, and we called a demonstration right there at Baywalk, because you can't mistreat black people, and then when we call the demonstration, they say, "We don't want you to do this anymore."
Wait, this has been amazing. We're
We don't never have enough time.
We're gonna have to have you back.
Yeah.
Since you here,
We don't never have enough time.
ever.
Yeah.
But you know what? Final thoughts, because this is it.
Chairman, thank you so much for all you've done in the past, all you're gonna do in the future. And let the people know, how can they help, how can they be of service to the movement.
I want everybody to anticipate, first of all, we should take the city of St. Petersburg to Tampa on September 3rd. I would say that they should know that we know that this is an attack on our community and our people, one. Two, I think it's important for August 31st, we're going to have a massive rally and march, here in this city. We want the people to come out and participate in that, and then go to Hands Off Uhuru, UHURU, handsoffuhuru.org, and you can find out everything about the case. You can even read the indictment. You can read the response to the indictment by our lawyers that called on the court to dismiss the charges because it was an assault on free speech. You can see all of that. We think it's important for people to be informed and know what this case is about. The government doesn't want you to do that. We say, go read what the government said, and then read our response to it, et cetera, and then come to some conclusions based on an understanding what actually transpired. I just want to express my appreciation to you, to this station, to this extraordinary African community, because what I am was fundamentally created in this city, and the Russians didn't do it. It was black people who, and our experience with this white power in St. Petersburg, Florida, that's pushing black people out of the city, even as we have this discussion, and attacked us because we initiated a process to try to prevent that from happening. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So stay tuned for Sister Hughes.
Lose your shoes and shout all around the house.
This has been a Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I am Kiana.
And I'm the one and only Mr. Edmond.
And we're out.